The Golden State Warriors are back on the clock in the second round of the NBA draft, holding the 41st overall pick in the 2025 class. Now, if we rewind the tape a little, just last year they landed Quinton Post, who, let's be real, turned out to be a pretty solid contributor right out of the gate. So the big question on everyone's mind in the Bay Area is simple: can they strike gold again? Today, we're diving headfirst into 5 realistic targets that could be available when the Warriors are on the board at pick number 41. And sure, we all know how unpredictable the draft can be. Guys rise, guys fall, teams trade up, teams trade down, but assuming things go fairly close to what the mocks are saying, these 5 players are definitely in play. So let's not waste time, let's get into it. First up, a name that should get Dub Nation buzzing: Kobe Bree. This dude can shoot the lights out. We're talking about a marksman who's been hovering around 4% from beyond the arc. He's listed at 6 feet 5 3/4, but honestly, the eye test says he's probably a little closer to 6'6" or 6'7" now. He's not some raw kid either. He's been around the college game, spent time with Dayton, and then transferred to Kentucky, where he averaged 12 points per game and kept his deep shooting at an elite clip. Bree is a movement shooter with real size. You could plug him in on the wing, let him roam off ball, and he's gonna hit shots off curls, flares, handoffs, you name it. And while defense isn't necessarily his calling card, his frame gives him a chance to grow into a serviceable defender at the next level. He's the kind of player who won't blow you away with flash, but you give him a role and he'll execute. That's the exact type of complementary piece the Warriors could use, especially when playing alongside the likes of Steph and Pods. Plus, let's not ignore the fact that this guy has absurd range, pulling up from 35 feet like it's nothing. His shooting numbers are more than just hot streaks. During his junior season, he actually hit 50% of his threes. That's not a typo, 50%, and it wasn't on 2 or 3 attempts per game either. We're talking about 6 shots a night from deep. This wasn't some lucky run, it was consistency, it was real. So if Kobe Bree is still there at 41, and the Warriors want a reliable shooter with real upside as a role player, this is a no-brainer. Next on the radar, we've got Sean James, a versatile defender out of Duke, originally transferred in from Tulane. Now, James is the kind of guy who won't dominate a box score, but he's the type of player every team wishes they had. He sticks to his man like glue on defense. And while he's only 6'4", he plays bigger because of his physicality and IQ. He's not going to be your lead initiator, but he's handled the ball, played in high-pressure situations, and held his own on both ends. At Duke, he had to share touches with Tyrese Proctor and Cooper Flagg, but James carved out his role, shooting 40% from deep and proving he could make smart reads. He's not flashy, but he's effective. That kind of steadiness is gold in the second round, and even though he's not a high-level creator, the Warriors aren't really in the market for someone to run the offense right now. They need defenders, shooters, and guys who know how to play within a system. That's Sean James in a nutshell. He's tough, mature, and plays the game the right way. You put him next to Steph, you get a guy who can guard 2s and 3s, make open shots, and not be a liability with the ball. That's what you want in a rotational guard, and honestly, it's kind of a mystery why he's not getting more love from scouts. Maybe it's the size, maybe the lack of creation, maybe the age, but whatever the reason, if he's there in round 2, the Warriors should be jumping on that opportunity. Now let's talk about Chaz Lanier out of Tennessee. Another sniper on this list, but one with a slightly different profile. Lanier can do a bit more off the bounce than Bree, but he struggled when facing elite defenders in the NCAA tournament, especially against Houston. That being said, Chaz is a certified bucket getter. He averaged 18 points per game for the Vols, shot over 40% from 3, and put up big numbers throughout the season. Standing around 6'3" without shoes, he's not going to overwhelm anyone with size, but he's got a solid vertical 39 inches and can get up. He spent for years at North Florida, then made the leap to the SEC and didn't miss a beat. If you're drafting him, you're drafting a shooter. That's his bread and butter. In 23-24, he hit 4% from deep. And last season in the SEC, he was back at 40%. This guy made 4 or more threes in 15 different games last year. That's consistency. He's not a distributor. He's not a creator for others. But in Golden State's system, you don't need every player to be a playmaker. Sometimes you just need someone to stretch the floor, knock down shots, and keep the defense honest, and Lanier can do that with the best of them. He's not someone who gets all the way to the rim often, but he's dangerous in that mid-range 10 to 14-foot area. Think Tim Hardaway Jr. not a star, but a legit scoring threat. If the Warriors could grab that type of player with the 41st pick, that's a win. Then we get to Kobe Sanders, a 6'7" guard from Nevada. This guy's been rising on draft boards, and it's easy to see why. He's a true combo guard with the ability to handle the ball, initiate the offense, and control tempo. And for a Warriors team that's still trying to figure out who their secondary playmaker is behind Steph, Sanders checks a lot of boxes. He's not a knockdown shooter 34% from deep last season, but he's a smart player, rarely turns the ball over, and runs the pick and roll with a veteran's poise. His assist-to-turnover ratio sits at 0.4, which is elite for a college guard with that much responsibility. He's got the size, the vision, and the feel. That kind of profile brings back memories of Warriors legend Shaun Livingston. Not the same type of scorer, but the same type of calming presence and mistake-free basketball. Golden State needs guys who won't beat themselves. Too many times last season, they had players trying to do too much. Buddy Hield forcing the issue. Kuminga's turnovers. Pods learning the ropes. Sanders could be the steady hand this second unit needs. He's not going to wow you with flash, but he makes the right plays and plays within himself. For a team that wants to get back to its high IQ identity, that matters. And finally, we've got Micah Peavy, the swingman from Georgetown. Peavy's journey has been interesting. Started at TCU, transferred to the Big East, and really evolved as a player. He finally started hitting shots from deep last year, shooting 40% on for attempts per game. That's a massive leap from where he was earlier in his college career at 6'6" to 120 pounds. With a near 6'7" wingspan, he's got the frame to match up with NBA wings right away. He averaged 17 points and 6 rebounds, and he gets to the rim with force. 42% of his shots came at the rim, and he converted at 57%. He's not going to be a primary shot creator, but he's got a strong pull-up game in the mid-range and ranked in the 90th percentile. In those looks, his outside shot is a bit slow, which means he'll need to be wide open to be efficient from deep, but in the right role, that's workable. Peavy's got quick hands, creates transition chances, and brings energy on both ends. He's already 24, so you're not drafting for upside, you're drafting for someone who can contribute right away. He's not a great free throw shooter, and he does have some turnover issues. But the comparison to someone like Josh Okogie makes sense. He's a role player with toughness and effort. And if the Warriors want to push the tempo and run in transition like they did after the Jimmy Butler trade, Peavy fits that mold. All right, we've gone through 5 legitimate options for Golden State with the 41st pick. Every one of these guys brings something different to the table. But the common thread is this: they all have one elite skill and the potential to help right away. If we zoom out for a second and really think about what the Warriors need heading into the next phase of their dynasty, or whatever version of it remains, it's all about balance. They've still got Steph Curry, still got Draymond Green, and they're hoping for more consistency from guys like Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. But what they desperately lacked last season was depth. The bench production dropped off. The shooting around Steph wasn't consistent, and when it came to those second unit minutes, the offense often looked lost. That's where this year's second-round pick becomes even more important. Golden State doesn't need a savior. They're not trying to find the next franchise cornerstone at pick 41. What they do need is someone who can give them real NBA minutes, who can hit shots, defend their position, make smart decisions, and not become a liability when the starters sit. It's about plugging holes, adding specialists, and building a rotation that can withstand the 82-game grind, and maybe even make a little noise come playoff time. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Golden State might have a problem, and it wears no 30. According to whispers emerging from the Warriors training facility, Stephen Curry may have suffered an injury during a closed-door session earlier this week, while details remain scarce, and the franchise has yet to make an official statement. Sources close to the team suggest that the incident, though downplayed internally, could be more serious than initially believed. Eyewitnesses who caught a glimpse of the practice described a moment of concern when Curry appeared to limp after a drive to the basket, quickly leaving the court accompanied by trainers. Since then, the reigning face of the franchise has reportedly been absent from team activities, a development that has set social media ablaze with speculation. Could the Warriors be facing another injury setback at the worst possible time? With the regular season ramping up and the Western Conference shaping up to be as competitive as ever, the potential absence of their talisman raises questions about Golden State's playoff ambitions. For a team that relies so heavily on Curry's shooting brilliance and leadership, even a short-term absence could tip the balance. Insiders are divided. Some say it's precautionary and that Curry's status is not in jeopardy, while others suggest that the Warriors' silence may be a strategic move to avoid panic before a formal diagnosis is released. The team has a history of keeping tight-lipped on injuries until all medical evaluations are completed, of course. This may all turn out to be nothing more than a fleeting scare, a minor tweak, a cautious rest day, but in the world of elite basketball, even a rumor like this can ripple across the league. Rivals are surely keeping an eye on the Bay Area, wondering if Golden State's linchpin is less than 100% for now. Warriors fans can only hold their breath and wait. One thing's for sure, any news involving Stephen Curry, especially when it involves a possible injury, is bound to send shockwaves, even if it starts as just a murmur. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.